operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, have arrested a man who runs an academy where internet fraudsters are being trained to defraud people. The man, identified as Afolabi Samad, was arrested with 16 trainees at the academy at Peace Estates, Lokogoma, a suburb of Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, which he rented at the cost of 3 million naira per annum. We have tough jobs on our hands, gentlemen. Now, if the EFCC, they're trying to, clamp down on these so-called Yahoo boys, and somebody is feeding fat from the Yahoo Academy right now.
Certainly, that's not the only training institution for advanced fee fraudsters. People cannot suddenly become good at defrauding people using digital tools. They get trained, and when they get trained, they mature and become very good at it. They too will be in position to train other people. So they have proteges, just like a young journalist will have someone under whom he gets a lot of training and mentoring to become better at his trade, at what he does. So it's the same thing with this advanced free fraud business. They don't just suddenly become good. They are products of training at fleecing people. They learn all the time on the job, and it's such a massive shame that in our country, people have the guts to even open an academy where people get trained, and then he gets paid for training such people. This sort of person should rot in jail so that others can learn from it. Until we deal decisively with these guys, a lot of them even see this as no big deal. They don't even see it as a crime. Society must see advanced fee fraud as a very big crime for which anyone caught should be severely punished.
Wally, now it's like the main thing within our youth now, as in the way they take to this Yahoo. Once you see a young man, you see him sagging his trouser, he has a laptop, the phone, and the next thing, you don't need a suit to tell you that it's into internet fraud. If you search him very well, you discover that that's what it's actually doing.
I think, first of all, one needs to commend the effort of the EFCC, because the anti-corruption agency is working within a very difficult environment where corruption has become entrenched. But they are really trying their best to bring corruption to the minimum. And they also like some of the way they operate without necessarily building their achievements around individuals. So I think what they have done is quite commendable. This is an institution where people are being trained to defraud, to steal. And we are talking about 16 trainees. Probably there may be more than that. And I believe that when we are talking of an institution, we are also talking of a rector, a principal. We are talking of an accountant. We are talking of workers. And I believe it's not impossible that there are collaborators in the bank who work with criminals like this. So one will advise that the EFCC should spread its dragnet. I believe this fellow is not acting alone. Probably he also graduated from another school of corruption before he decided to set up his own
school of corruption.
And I will not believe that this is the only crime institution, that we have in the country. I think there may be other similar institutions. It's very unfortunate that people have been made to believe that the biggest way to survive is to defraud, to steal, to inflict pain and trauma on other fellow citizens. It's a challenge to all of us. It's a challenge to the FCC and ICPC and the police that they need to work harder, because there's no society that will thrive, that will stabilize, where corruption is a culture. Corruption is an ill wind that blows no one any good. Even these guys that commit the crime, even if they are not caught by the law, one way or the other, they will pay for the crimes they are committing. Because corruption leads to all sorts of violence, sort of aggression. So they could be victims in one way or the other. So I commend the EFCC, and I believe they will not stop at this. They will, extend the dragnet so that other collaborators working with this fellow will be nabbed and punished.
The activities of these guys succeeded in, we have a battered image in the international community. There's some app now that you can't make payments, you can't do anything, you can't trade, you can't do anything, just because of the activities of people like this.
Yes. When you go abroad, they see that you're a Nigerian, the first thing they have in mind that, you are a dubious person, you are an advanced fee fraudster, or that you are a drug courier. Many years ago, when it was rampant for Nigerians to be arrested at airports all over the world for being in possession of illicit drugs, Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka had dogs set on him to sniff him. That was the height of it. That an international figure, a global icon from our country, they had to send dogs to sniff Wole Soyinka to be sure that he was not carrying drugs. That is the damage that undesirable elements can do to the rest of us who are law-abiding citizens. Because it's such a bad thing. And unfortunately, even in our continent, we are not the only bad people. There are fraudsters from Sierra Leone, fraudsters from every part of this continent. But we've been given such a bad name. In South Africa, we are seen as we are seen as people in the drug business. We are seen as advanced fee fraudsters. People are reluctant to do business with Nigerians. They are scared. They will put all kinds of measures in place.
The green passport is no longer respected.
Because nobody is sure that they won't regret doing business with the Nigerians. So we've got to, I think that the laws have to be stronger. When you have a big problem, you then look for the right package of laws to deal with that problem. That is not what we are doing. Our laws still appear like a slap on the wrist when it comes to advanced fee fraud, even for corruption.
One of these people, they have parents.
Yeah.
And before, it is the parent that will play a kind of role that will help, you must know the activity of your children, you must monitor your children, you must ensure they don't bring what is not theirs home and everything. But right now, the reverse is the case. These parents, they encourage their children, they say that reaping the fruit of their labor.
Yes, the way we have bad children, we also have bad parents. A lot of parents don't create the time to work on their children, to train them, And if you look at our curriculum, most of the time, our children spend greater time of their lives, with their parents. How many hours do you spend in school? Maybe from 8 o'clock till 4 o'clock, Monday to Friday. And then you are on holidays for about 5 months in a year. So most of the time, you are with your parents. So parents who, they are so much engaged in so many other things that they don't have time to, and it starts from childhood, from the age 2, from age 3. You must be able to, if your child brings something that does not belong to the child, brings that thing home, you should be able to ask questions. But a lot of parents are not doing what they need to do. But it should not be left for parents alone. The school curriculum also needs to be addressed. Because while we were going to primary school in those days, education was with culture. They teach you a lot of things, at least in this Southwest, and I know it's not only straight to the Southwest alone. You are taught a lot of cultural things. You are taught about folklores, about the tortoise and all that ended up telling you that greed, and avarice, they are not good. They taught a lot of things that were included in our curriculum, so that when you are growing up, you will become a complete person. Because education without culture, it's no education at all.
Parenting has broken down irretrievably.
Yes, well, that's a fact. Otherwise, we won't be where we are now. Everyone must realize that parenting is a tough job. It's not so easy. Parents have outsourced the bringing up of their children to other people, teachers, and they don't care. They don't go into their children's rooms to even try to sniff some of the odd things that those children are doing. And at the end of the day, they have a big embarrassment on their hands. So